Hello, everyone, and welcome to Genome British Columbia's Data Literacy webinar series. My name is Joanna Hollander, and I'm the Director, Data Science at Genome BC. While today we meet on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to recognize and acknowledge that I live, work, and raise my family in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Today is the 15th episode of our webinar series, which we started with the aim to bring national and international experts together to help deepen our understanding of different data-related initiatives, standards, and resources. Each of our webinars is recorded and available on Genome BC's YouTube channel. In today's episode, I look forward to hearing about Reach BC, a platform that connects individuals with health research studies. It is my pleasure to introduce our speakers, Michelle Chen, who is the platform administrator for Reach BC, responsible for supporting researchers and volunteers using the platform. She oversees the optimization of the site, including user experience and interface design, platform maintenance, and ongoing development. Justine Clayton is the coordinator for Reach BC, supporting the program's operations and helping connect the public with health research opportunities across our province. Justine's work helps ensure a smooth experience for both participants and researchers engaging with the Reach BC platform. With that, Michelle and Justine, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Susanna. I will share my screen. All righty. Let's just jump right into it. Thank you again, Susanna, for introducing us, and thank you everyone for joining us for this webinar. Again, we will be speaking about our platform Reach BC and our recent collaboration with Genome BC's Health Metadata Commons. We're an initiative of Clinical Trials British Columbia, which works to strengthen and grow the clinical trials ecosystem. And we're grateful for funding and support from Michael Smith Health Research BC and the BC Support Unit, founded under the Strategy for Patient-Oriented Research. To give a very brief synopsis, Reach BC helps clinical trials move forward faster and with greater inclusion by helping the public and researchers find each other. And before we really get into it, I wanted to acknowledge with respect and humility that our Vancouver offices are located on the traditional and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. As a provincial organization, our work extends across many Indigenous lands and territories throughout British Columbia. And we also acknowledge the diverse First Nations across British Columbia who have inherent rights rooted in the connection to their lands and waters, which have never been surrendered. In the spirit of reconciliation, we aim to practice cultural safety, value Indigenous ways of knowing, and respect the rights of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. The view is a winter one of Garibaldi from the Salish Sea at the entrance to Howe Sound. It marks the friendly borders between 5 Indigenous nations. So Clinical Trials British Columbia is a provincial leader coordinating a unified province-wide approach to advancing clinical trials. And in partnership with researchers, health organizations, and communities across BC and Canada, we build capacity to attract and conduct high-quality trials, and Reach BC is one of the ways that we work within this ecosystem. So Reach BC, it's a centralized platform connecting British Columbians to health research, clinical trial opportunities, and patient partner opportunities. We help bridge the gap between the public and health researchers to improve health outcomes. And additionally, the platform helps raise awareness of research opportunities, helps researchers recruit patient partners, supports volunteers and researchers across the province, including rural and underserved communities, as well as allows researchers to share their research study results. We engage with our community by personalized weekly matching emails based off health categories that people have chosen when they sign up, community events, webinars, researcher tutorials, and through patient partner advocates. And there are three big ways we help build trust with our users and the community at large. One is through transparency, so by allowing volunteers to access study results, not just recruitment postings, and being able to see the results of what they participate in. Reliability, so by strengthening site security and preventing false accounts to ensure ethical participation. And through giving back, participants see impact of their contributions through our research results feature, which increases willingness to join future studies. So what makes ReachVC different from other similar platforms? Well, we have some unique features such as the matching software through study and volunteer health category selections upon sign-up, personalized dashboards for volunteers and researchers, and weekly matching emails every Monday. We have a variety of researcher resources as well, with tools to manage volunteers, such as status tracking and contact management, as well as methods for knowledge translation through our research results feature. The volunteer experience as well, by offering a full circle experience, closing the loop by sharing study results and giving volunteers control over their personal data. And speaking of the volunteer experience, we just wanted to highlight a participant perspective because meaningful patient and public engagement is core to patient-oriented research. Now, who can use ReachBC? Well, it's for everyone, the public and communities, as well as people in the health research and clinical trial space can all use ReachBC. This includes people who want to volunteer or participate in research, people who want to join a research team as a patient partner and contribute their lived experience, researchers and research institutions within BC, independent and community-based researchers, as well as out-of-province researchers looking for participants in BC through our pilot program. For the public, anyone aged 16 or older in BC can create a volunteer profile to find personalized study matches. Volunteers can participate as patients with a condition or controls as a healthy volunteer, and patient partners can join a research team to provide guidance on study design and prioritization of research activities. For researchers, they must be appointed or employed by a BC Health Authority or public post-secondary institution. Graduate students with a principal investigator who meets the researcher criteria above may also be eligible. Private or non-BC researchers can apply to join ReachBC through our pilot program as well, which I referenced to. So one of the areas recently where we've provided support is helping facilitate recruitment for phase 1 healthy volunteers in anticipation of the Mount St. Joseph's Clinic opening. We collaborated with the phase 1 team at Providence Health to prepare digital screens, social media graphics, and printed postcards to help raise awareness. All materials went through internal review and were approved by the ethics team before distribution. This support helped expand reach beyond traditional methods and ensured messaging remained consistent, accurate, and ethically appropriate. We have currently helped the phase 1 team enroll nearly 300 volunteers through ReachBC. And here are some examples of pamphlets and postcards and TV screen ads that were on display at St. Paul's Hospital. The physical media was just distributed at clinics, community centers, hospitals, and other places in the community. I think Michelle even saw a poster up at like a spin studio, so it was everywhere. So I won't bog you down too much with numbers or anything like that, but just some key metrics of note. We have 11,147 volunteers registered as of January 2026. 1,713 researchers registered, 4,605 volunteers have been matched and enrolled to research opportunities, and 830 projects listed on the ReachBC directory. Among these projects, we have 114 clinical trials listed on the directory. I will now pass it off to Michelle to go more into technical side of the platform and also speak on our recent collaboration with Genome BC.
Thank you, Justine. So I'll take over from here. For how we support volunteers and diverse community within provincial recruitment efforts, our approach is province-wide and inclusive. So we know volunteers live in very different contexts across BC. So we support participation through both in-person and virtual opportunities. This helps reduce geographic and accessibility barriers and makes it easier for people to get involved in ways that work for them. And as you can see on the slide, we have participation across all health authority regions, and that distribution reflects our commitment to supporting volunteers no matter where they're located in the province. And we also see engagement across age groups, showing that the platform are resonating with everyone from digital natives to seniors. And we actively monitor this through our data dashboard, which helps us identify where engagement may be lower and where we should focus future outreach. And for strengthening our rural and remote engagement efforts, we're revitalizing our ambassador program, which is designed to build trusted local connections and support community-led outreach across regions. And beyond just geography and demographics, our platform also supports diversity in experience and interests. So volunteers, they can choose from over 200 health research areas and allowing them to contribute based on what matters most to them and where they feel they can add value. And our pathway includes multiple ways to get involved, from joining research studies as participants to join the research team as patient partners or advisor, to help shape research priorities, inform study design, or support patient-oriented research. And we also support recruitment across a wide range of study types, including clinical, biomedical, or health system and services, social, cultural, environmental, and population health research. So taking these all together, our approach helps ensure our recruitment and engagement efforts remain inclusive, flexible, and responsive to the diverse community we serve. Next slide, please. Now we can take a look at how ReachBC works. So first, from the volunteer side, they can create their profile with their health research interest, contact information, and research preference. And go to step 2. From the researcher side, they will add study with, with study description, eligibility criteria, research ethics approval, and their study timeline to the ReachBC study directory. And then our system will automatically match studies that fits volunteers' profile and interest, making their participation easy and relevant. And once the volunteer expressed interest to the study, researchers can connect with them to coordinate screening, consent, and enrollment to get the study moving. And last step is when the study concludes, researchers can share the study results in lay language with any knowledge translation products like website or their published paper back to the community. This lets the volunteers see their specific contribution and impact, which is key to keeping them engaged for the long term. Next slide, please. And now that we have a better idea of how ReachBC works, we can take a deeper dive into our volunteers' journey. So it starts with a simple sign-up process. Volunteer can create an account by just providing their name, date of birth, and contact information. And from there, they can select the specific health research areas they're interested in. And this ensures that from day one, we're matching them with the opportunities that actually matter to them. And they can always readjust their settings in their profile. So they just to make sure they can always get the opportunities that relevant to their interests. Next slide. And once the profile is set up, they will getting matched with research opportunities. So on the slide, you can see on their volunteer dashboard, they will see a curated list of studies recommended to them based on their interest and their basic profile information. And next. So, and then to keep them engaged without having to always go into the dashboard to check, we also send out a weekly matching email on Monday with the tailored recommendations to them. Next. And beyond these like automated matches, volunteer can also use our public study directory at any time to browse or search for every research opportunity that's actively recruiting on our platform. Next slide. And next step is connect with research teams. So from here, volunteer can review their recommended studies at their own pace. If they find one they like or they're interested in, they can simply click the I'm interested button, as you can see here on the slide. And once that button is clicked, the volunteer's contact information is shared with the research team, who will then reach out to the volunteer to discuss next steps. So this is a crucial phase where volunteers can ask questions or dig into the details directly with the researchers before making any commitment. And if they decide, after they click I'm interested, if they feel like, actually I want to withdraw, there's an option for them to withdraw their interest as well. So this permission to contact model allows us to give the power back to the volunteers, empowering them to decide exactly which studies they want to join and ensuring they can make a fully informed decision before moving forward. Next slide. And the last step is viewing study results. So one thing we've heard consistently from our volunteer over the year is that they want to see the impact of their contribution and involvement. So to address that, we've built a dedicated study results feature. So once a study is complete and the results are shared, it will appear directly on the volunteer's dashboard under the My Projects tab, and it will be marked with a results available label. Next. And we're also making sure this research result information find the volunteers where they are. So in our weekly matching email, we also include a specific research results section. This suggests study results tailored to volunteers' health interest, keeping them connected to the broader scientific progress they helped make possible. Next slide, please. And so I was talking about the volunteer journey, and now we can shift our focus to the researcher's journey and look at how ReachBC can support researchers' recruitment process. So first step is researcher will create their researcher account. And on the sign-up form, we ask for researcher's name, phone number, and mobile phone number because we use two-factor authentication. So every time a researcher logs in, they will receive a 6-digit code sent to their phone. And our sign-up form also asked about their position, their title, what is their health authority affiliation, and/or their university affiliation. And lastly, researchers have to review and accept our privacy statement and term of use, as well as the researcher confidentiality undertaking before they can access the platform. Next slide. And then once they have an account, they can log into the researcher portal and start adding a study opportunity. And on our study submission form, they will fill out information for the study, the title, study purpose, what's involved, what's the estimated commitment, and the inclusion and exclusion criteria. And most importantly, they will be asked to submit their REB certificate and enter the certificate number and expiry date. And after everything is done, they can submit their study posting for admin review. And when we review it, we will make sure that the wording is clear and it's written in plain language and is easy for the general public to understand. And if they've uploaded their REB certificate, we will also double check the PI's name, the study title, and the expiry date. And most importantly, we will make sure that the REB has approved the use of ReachBC for recruitment in this study. Next slide. And once the study is approved, it will be open for recruitment on our platform. And from here, our system will automatically match studies with the volunteers who meet the study's eligibility criteria, such as sex, age, and gender, and who have selected the same health categories as the study posting. And when the volunteers are matched with the study, they can review the posting, contact the research team for more information, or they can just simply click the I'm interested button to express interest. Next slide. And on the researcher side, whenever a volunteer expresses interest, the researcher team will receive a list of those volunteers along with their contact details. From there, the team can follow up directly with the volunteer for the next steps. Next slide. And once the study concludes, the researcher can share their study results on the platform. We provided 2 pathways to support result sharing. So the researchers can either add results to an existing study already on ReachBC, or if they didn't recruit through the platform, they can still create a standalone study result page. This ensures that regardless of how they recruited, they can still share their findings with the community. Next. And on the study result form, they will provide, as you can see in the slide, a summary of the results, and they can note any study limitations the study may have and share additional resources such as published paper or website for knowledge translation, and they can submit for review. And the benefit of sharing the study results is to allow participants to stay informed and up to date on a study's progress through ReachBC. And it also gives our researcher a study result page on ReachBC with a shareable URL, making it easier for them to share their results with the public. Next slide. And this brings us to this new feature we've developed in partnership with Genome BC's Health Metadata Commons. So this new feature allows researchers to share study results across the platforms, improving access and streamlining navigation, and supports a more connected and efficient research environment in British Columbia. And let's look at what are some key benefits of this feature. So first is unified sharing. This means that your study results can appear across both platforms automatically, eliminating the need for double entry. And it is a one process for 2 platforms feature, so you can avoid those extra administrative hurdles while ensuring your data is where it needs to be. And this integration will also give your study a broader visibility. So you're no longer siloed, you're reaching a dual audience of researchers seeking data sets and participants looking for health research opportunities. And by bringing these elements together, we're fostering a more connected research ecosystem, making it easier for your work to be discovered, shared, and utilized across the field. And now you might be wondering who this feature is for. So the feature is open to all researchers who are currently eligible to share study results on either platform. So even if your study doesn't include biological samples or omics research data, we still strongly encourage you to share your general results through this collaboration, because by sharing, you can increase the footprint of your work across both platforms, which often can lead to unexpected new opportunities. And for example, you might discover data sets on Health Metadata Commons that could directly inform or complement your next research project. Next slide. And next, let's take a look at how we actually connect study results across the platform. We have set up a demo project titled Gut Dysbiosis as Mechanism Driving Increased Cancer Risk Among Night Shift Workers, conducted by Dr. Parmveer Bhatti to show you how this works on both sides. So if you look at the project screenshot, the view on the Health Metadata Commons shows a specific HMC ID. And under the project description, there's a link that connects directly to ReachBC. And because this specific study is still in recruitment phase, so that current link will point to the recruitment post. But once the project is finished and the study is published, the link will update to point directly to the study result page on ReachBC. And you'll also notice there's a post to ReachBC platform indicator at the bottom, and it's checked, which confirms that this unified sharing is active. Next slide. So let's see how this works in practice. So let's suppose this gut health study has wrapped up and their team is ready to add a study result page on ReachBC, and they would like to cross-share it on HMC. So the step one is for the researcher to log into their researcher account and follows the usual steps to publish their study results. And the new part is step two. So in our study results submission form, you will see this newly added section asking if you like to share your study results on Health Metadata Commons as well. So you can request your cross-posting simply by checking the box. And one important note is that checking this box confirms that you have the PI's approval to share. Also, if your study involves human biological samples or omics data that is clear for sharing by the REB, you can leave a note in the comments section. And when the ReachBC admin reviewing your study result submission, they will see this and reach out to you to help you with the specific steps for getting those sample data shared onto HMC. Next slide. And in step three, once you hit submit, the ReachBC admin will see your request and we will coordinate the cross-posting process for you. And as soon as the study result is approved, it goes live on both platforms. And on your public-facing ReachBC study result page, you will see a link to the version on the Health Metadata Commons page under this section, which you can see on the slide, under this additional resources and information section. And you will also receive a confirmation email from us with both links to both pages on both platforms. So this makes it easier for you to share your work with your network to include those links into your own knowledge translation products. Next slide. And lastly, I would like to touch on our quality and control of the platform. So we take a structured approach to maintain the quality and security of the platform. We treat quality assurance as an ongoing operational responsibilities, and these includes documented process, audits, consistent reporting, and defined responses for issues or risks. We ensure our quality assurance through SOPs. So all of our core workflows are supported by standard operating procedures, and these SOPs guide every step of the recruitment process from study vetting, posting, participants communication, and our platform updates. And these SOPs can ensure that anyone performing the process is using the same consistent documented standard, and these SOPs are reviewed and updated regularly. And we also have system reminders set up, so our system automatically sends reminders to the research team 7 days prior to the recruitment end date. So this helps ensure that the study status on the platform is accurate. And when a volunteer expresses interest, the research team also receives a notification, which allows them to follow up with the volunteers in a timely manner and keeps the volunteers informed and engaged. In addition, we perform monthly and quarterly platform audits to make sure that all studies that have reached their recruitment end date are properly closed. And we also send reminders to researchers to upload their renewed REB approvals before they expire. as long as the study is still active for recruitment. And each month, we will compile and review performance data from the platform. That includes, we will check the numbers of the new studies and participants, and we will monitor the volume and type of inquiries we receive regarding the platform. And we will also check the systems or operational issues and response times. So by monitoring this change of these trends, we can quickly identify areas for improvements and emerging risks. And for how we respond, how we review and how fast we respond to the researchers, we also aim to review and process their new study submissions within 1 to 3 business days. This can ensure our timely support for research team, while also maintaining the integrity of our review processes. So if something is missing or unclear, we can reach out immediately to the researcher so that their posting is not delayed. And how we respond to issues, complaints, and emerging risks. So if there is a serious issue arises, such as a privacy concern or technical failure, we follow a defined incident reporting process. This includes logging the issue, initiating corrective actions with our corporate compliance and safety officer, and we will notify institutional partners if required. And the process helps ensure we respond rapidly, transparently, and in compliance with policies. Overall, our goal is to maintain a system that researchers, participants, and institutions can trust. So with regular auditing, documented workflows, and the structured incident management system, it helps us continuously strengthen the platform and stay aligned with ethical and privacy standards. Lastly, I'd like to conclude today's presentation with this quote from Dr. Sarah Nutter, assistant professor from University of Victoria. I think she captured the why Reach BC perfectly in this quote. In her experience, our platform was a key driver in helping her team recruit and engage a diverse group of participants across BC. So that brings us to the end of our presentation today, and we will open up for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Justine and Michelle. I'm very impressed with the maturity of the platform and your thinking around making the platform very friendly to the volunteers and researchers, and having follow-ups so that researchers can let the volunteers and participants know what exactly happened in that. So wonderful job. We have 10 questions on the Q&A that I'll start reading off, and anybody else has questions, please put them into the Q&A section of Zoom. So the very first question we have received was, have you built any relationships with Indigenous nations to enable research that aligns with community priorities? I don't know if this aligns with the ambassador program that you mentioned.
Yeah, I guess I can speak to that a little bit. Even when we built out the Reach BC platform, this was before my time, but when it was still in the process of being developed, one of the major things we did was involved Indigenous leaders to gather their feedback and gather their voice while we're developing it, to ensure that we had more of a holistic representation for the platform, given that we are involving all BC residents. Yeah, I hope that helps. And then also working with a lot of patient partners and community groups that can further speak to a wide variety of patient experiences.
Yeah, and I guess given that change or sort of priorities may change for Indigenous communities over time, I'm assuming that you also sort of time to time still engage them.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Do you have centers in remote areas where people can volunteer if they do not have internet access easily, which is, I know, could be an issue for some of the more remote areas?
It really varies on the studies, and we know that nowadays a lot of times it depends on the internet to connect with the researchers. So we will always make sure they put that in their criteria, like clearly letting people know. But they're always the research team that I know and engage with, like they're always very helpful when it comes to connecting with researcher and accommodating to their when they connect with volunteers and accommodating to their needs. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if some
Mhm.
of your outreach programs also go
Yeah.
to more remote areas that could also support the connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so this was probably sort of early on before you mentioned some more of this, but how do you follow up to see if the researchers have contacted the volunteers who are interested?
So I can talk on that. So on their researcher portal, so after the volunteer express interest, they will see their contact information, and there's a like follow-up status drop-down list where the researcher can update their status, whether for this volunteers the status is follow-up in process, or whether it's like enrolled, or whether maybe after the screening process, they find out the volunteer might not be eligible, they can update the status as like ineligible or like they withdraw interest, things like that. So we do have a drop down list for researchers to update the follow-up status in the system.
Okay. And I'm assuming just sort of like, researchers are busy. What if they forget? Is that something that you follow up if they haven't marked anything?
Yes. So we do like monthly audits. So if we see that from the back end, if we see that, oh, maybe this volunteer has expressed interest and we have notified the researchers, but they haven't follow up, we will send them reminders as well. Yeah.
Okay. So now we have two questions that are related. Does this show other clinical trials not in BC? And then another one asking whether there are active plans to scale the Reach BC model nationally or collaborate with other provincial networks.
I think right now the focus still in BC. So most of our, I would say almost most of our project and studies are recruiting in BC, whether in person or remote. But if it's sometimes we do get inquiries that researchers, they have a pan-Canadian study they want to recruit through Reach BC. And for those researchers, we have a pilot program where they can apply. We will ask them about what the project is, what's the detail, what's the criteria, and ask for their RB approval. And we will do some internal vetting. And we think this project is a fit. We will invite them to join Reach BC as through our pilot program, and then they can post the studies like that on Reach. So I would say the main focus is BC opportunities, but if they're like out of province opportunity, we could look into what that is and then support them.
Okay. Otherwise, you'd have to call it Reach without the BC or Reach
Yeah,
Canada
Reach
or something.
Canada. Yeah.
So this is also the next question lines up with one of my questions that I was wondering what is if you find certain studies are more suitable for the platform than others. So the question we had from the audience related to this was the Reach BC seems best suited for recruiting participants for simpler, more straightforward studies such as phase 1 trials that involve health volunteers. For more complex studies with specific inclusion, exclusion criteria, for example, those requiring patients with a certain level of kidney function, this approach may be less effective. Many potential participants may not know whether they meet these criteria, and in those cases, referral from physicians, specialists, or clinic that are already have access to patients' medical information would likely be more practical and effective to identify the eligible participants. Um, so-
So I think our role is more like bridging the bridge between to connect researchers and volunteers. On Reach BC, you can recruit both like healthy controls and patients, but like you understand now our system, like when they sign up they can select the health categories they're
Mhm.
interested in, but that doesn't mean they have that condition, but that just connect them with the studies that they find interest. But after they express, the research team will do like further screening process to find out whether this participant is eligible or not. So I would say we can still support those type of studies, but there will be a screening process involved. But what we wanted to do is just initially make that connection. So at least like those people knows where to find available active recruiting studies instead of they have to Google like online. They can just come to Reach and see, oh, these are the list that's happening right now, and I can see if there is something related to the condition that I want to learn more. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think makes a lot of sense. Sometimes I'm interested in certain studies, that specifically do something that I'm passionate about. So having one platform where I can search is definitely
Hmm.
helpful. And I do get that sometimes other screening that has to take place,
Yeah.
obviously, if there is more specific eligibility criteria.
And
But I'm
yeah.
assuming that would be part of the process anyways, as there would be potentially need to access patients' clinical data in
Yeah.
another platform. So then we have another question that says, do updates have to be made on both platforms? And I'm assuming this refers to Reach BC and the Health Metadata Commons.
No. So if you post it on Reach, if you make updates on our study result page, we will coordinate the updates through HMC. So like depending on which platform you post on, you only need to reach out to that side of the admin, and then we will help you coordinate the process. So you don't need to like notify both me and the HMC admin. You can just notify the site that you post your study results from. Yeah. I hope
Thank
that
you.
answers your question.
All right. Are there specific eligibility requirements for public versus private sector projects? And I think you already mentioned this, that the researchers have to be associated with a health authority or an academic organization, but I don't know if you work with private sector projects at all.
Um, So our pilot program is something, if they're interested in posting their project on Reach, they can reach out to us. I don't think we have a official partners with the private sector because right now you have to have like those health authority or university affiliated email address to be able to register as researcher directly on the website. If your website is not accepted, if your email address is not accepted, you won't be able to create an account. So yeah, so right now we only allow like appointed like BC health authority appointed or university affiliation researchers. But if you're from private or out of province, and if you think your project might be suitable for Reach, like feel free to reach out to us, and then we will learn more about your study, and then we can see if we can onboard you as a researcher.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, there is also a thank you for sharing comment. So thank you for that. It's always nice for us to, from Genome BC, to be able to let our community know that there is a platform like Reach BC that's been around for a long time that they can use for enrollment. What have you identified as the primary drivers or incentives that motivate individuals to sign up as volunteers? I wonder if you had a a survey about this.
Um, I was at the wellness show yesterday, so I just talking to a lot of like people who are interested in volunteering. I think just incentive. I think just having a place where they can look for opportunities to volunteer is an incentive. Because a lot of times they're like, I want to volunteer, but I don't know where to find like studies or clinical trials, or they talk to maybe like their doctors and then they didn't hear like opportunities from them because there are only certain like channels they can talk to find opportunities like this. So having all the active recruiting opportunities in BC in one platform is really big attraction for them, I think. And also just wanting to help.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was surprised as during my PhD, I was enrolling patients into research study that I was leading, how willing people were to be part of research studies. That was quite eye-opening. So having a platform where they can express that interest, I could see that being very attractive.
Yeah.
The next question, how would you ensure the research study results are published on the platform in a timely manner?
Sorry, how do I
How
ensure?
would you ensure the research study results are published on the platform in a timely manner? So I think you mentioned something around you do the audit, and if they're finished.
Yeah. So after researcher close their recruitment, we will send them an email saying, oh, we got your, you closed your study recruitment. And if you have interim results, at the same time, feel free to share it. So that's the first, that's the first reminder we send. And the second one is when when their project is completed, they will also need to indicate that in the platform, and then we will send them another reminder. Asking them to share their study results because their project has completed. And so I guess our approach is just to constantly, periodically remind them to share their study results. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think we answered the next questions. Do researchers have to be from BC? You mentioned this, that primarily yes, but you also have ways to review them if they contact you, if they're from outside of BC.
Yes.
All right. So the last questions that we have posted, unless there are any others popping up, do you have statistics on the percentage of clinical trials in BC that recruit through Reach BC, and what proportion of their total recruitment is completed via the platform? I don't know if you have statistics on.
We have statistics on how many clinical trials that has posted on Reach, and I know there have been over 114 that's recruited through Reach BC, and I think there are 20 of them are currently recruiting. And we are looking to having more clinical trials posted on Reach as well, so we're working towards that. But I don't think I might need to go back and check if I have the specific percentage of the data you're asking for. But I can say just like how many trials that we have on Reach and how many is currently recruiting. Yeah.
I was wondering, related to that question, if you follow up with some of the researchers to kind of just gauge what % of their enrollment happened through Reach BC versus their other ways that they were enrolling.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good way to do that. We are able to see, because like I mentioned earlier, they're able to update the volunteer status, right? So we are able to see, okay, maybe for this study, like how many of those are updated to enroll. But again, sometimes it really depends on researcher to update the status. So it's not 100% accurate, but we can get a sense of like, oh, maybe how many volunteers are enrolled in this particular study. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the end of our questions. Thank you so much. We actually went through a lot of questions, and hopefully the participants were able to understand how very useful Reach BC can be if you use it for your patient enrollment. And we understand that maybe it's not the 100% best suited for everything, but I think at least for BC-based research studies would be wonderful, especially if you want to reach communities that may not be within the jurisdiction in which you are you are located. And so reaching more remote communities or communities from other parts of outside of mainland, I think would be wonderful. And we need research studies to have a more varied patient demographics and, risks and everything. So please come to Reach BC, or go to Reach BC rather, and post your studies, because that could be very useful for everyone. And thank you so much again, Justine and Michelle. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you to our participants for tuning in again, and hope to see you at another one of our webinars in the future. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Very excited to spread the word that more people know about Reach BC.